seem to be the cars of choice here. Between them, they've got 26 cars in his 43-car field to go with 8 Chevys, 8 Pontiacs, and 1 lone Ford. And that is going to be the subject of some discussion, I would guess.
Oh, trouble.
I saw Waltrip 17 go out of the picture, but it looks like 22, Rick Mast involved in it. 99 in your foreground is Tommy Ellis, the 2-time series champ. We've got cars all over the racetrack.
Totally blocked down there. Everybody needs to stay high on the racetrack. This is where you need a spotter.
Serious accident down in turn number 4.
I don't think the licks were as hard as we had the other day. I feel people are pulling off now because most of the people were on the brakes when they were getting into that. The drivers just had nowhere to go. We see Jack Ingram in the number 11 Skoll car.
The number 30 is Mike Waltrip. Number 42 is Kyle Petty.
I think I see Kenny Wallace's car, Cox Wood Preservative.
31, Steve Grissom. Let's take another look at it and see if we can see how it got started. Watch the left side of your screen. 2 cars getting together, and then one gets sideways.
Looked like that was the Dale Jarrett car.
Brad Teague, I believe, the number 75, the black and orange car right at the middle of your screen, and he really
look how that racetrack is blocked. There's nowhere to go. Driving has nothing to do with it here. You're flying. There's just nowhere to go. Everything washes down, but people now have locked it up to try to miss the wreck, and you're just in jail. There goes Tommy Houston spinning down.
Drivers, the day ended without completing a lap. Labate spun in traffic in turn 3, collecting Mike McLaughlin and Ernie Irvin, and sending a total of 15 competitors spinning on the speedway. The cars of Labate and Davey Johnson burst into flames, but both drivers were okay. Earnhardt moved to the front when the green came out on lap 12. On lap 17, Dale Jarrett was hit in the rear by Jimmy Spencer. Spencer scooted in front of Michael Waltrip and continued. Jarrett spun, was smacked by Darrell Waltrip, then came down the track and hit Chuck Bound. Dave Resendiz was also involved. He was able to continue, but the other 3 drivers were finished for the day. On lap 33, the fireworks came in turn 4. Todd Bodine spins, taking out the 2 front row starters, Jack Sprague and David Green.
It wasn't long before Dale Earnhardt and Davey Allison moved to the front. The strongest cars on the speedway belong to Earnhardt, Allison, Michael Waltrip, and Ken Schrader. Despite a long stretch under green, the 4 remained bunched closely on the money lap. With Earnhardt uncatchable, Allison had his hands full with Waltrip, who was going to get second or wreck trying.
And he eases up in front of those cars. Just looks like he realizes there's no one out there in that time, and it always works for him.
Nemechek has been very impressive. Dropped back a few positions in the first 4 or 5 laps of the race, but has charged to the front.
Down in turn 2.
Oh, a car hard into the outside wall. A tremendous impact to the outside wall. The car bursting into flames. The flames are out. Several other cars are going to be involved. And I believe the car that made the heavy contact with the outside wall was the 01 car of Randy McDonald from Ontario, Canada. Just took off and hit the outside wall. There was fire when the car made contact with the wall, and then other cars became involved.
What happens, the fuel pump sits very close to the frame up there, and I'm sure he got a lick hard enough that would have knocked the fuel pump off, and that would have caused a brief fire. The fire did go out almost instantly, though.
Contact, and here is the crash. You can see the momentary flash there. And then other cars become involved as he slides down through the second turn, banking it onto the backstretch.
Well, he's not going up or down. He's just staying right in the racetrack where the fellows have to go inside. That fellow went up and hit the outside retaining wall, and here these fellows came down in the infield. There's Michael Waltrip, our pole sitter, down in the grass.
Michael Waltrip did make contact with McDonald as he slid into the infield grass, and here it is again from another angle.
And look at the hood flying around off that car up there. It looked like a piece of metal. Another car backing in the wall up here. This red car has just hit the outside retaining wall, and here comes Michael Waltrip, and boom, he hits that car on the inside.
First caution period of the race.
Guaranteed there's a tire mark on the right side of it.
Well, maybe Jimmy Spencer has a spin. Just as we wipe to the replay, there's a spin, and a multi-car crashes turn number 2.
That's Joe Nemechek, our outside pole sitter. The car is burning, I believe.
We have seen fire on numerous occasions here this afternoon, and it looks like that car is
There's Bobby Labonte over there in 63, Chuck Bound. There's Michael Waltrip once again, our pole sitter.
The 99 car, Ricky Craven involved. And here it is again.
Here we see him right to the right of the screen, just some contact. And the 87 car spins, he goes down, and what happens is you got to go back up. As he goes back up, we're right behind the sign, but watch as these cars come in there, and boom, Chuck Bound nails him. That's the 19 car of Tom Peck. Bobby Labonte goes down. There's 24 car, 34 car, that's Todd Bodine, the Hungry Jack car.
That looks like a fuel fire, Benny. These cars obviously were full of fuel because they had just come in during that most recent caution period, and when the car made hard contact with the wall and when he was hit by Chuck Bound.
And his eyes out there over the whole 2.5-mile track is the spotter working up high.
Oh, crash,
and a big crash in turn number 1. There are about 5, maybe 6, could be even 7
Davey
cars.
Allison?
Well, I don't know. I believe it could involve Spencer, Allison, and others, including Joe Ruttman. Yeah, there's Davey.
The Mac Tools car. Man, look at the nose on that car. It's all beat up. It looks like Todd Bodine's.
Yeah. Some of them. Here it is again.
There we see that was Presley. Robert Presley and Spencer made some contact. Davey runs in the side of Presley's car.
Joe Ruttman spinning up the banking.
Yes.
And the other car back here is who?
I don't know.
Beside Davey.
Might be Sterling Marlin. Then I don't know. And look at him come off the corner. Is that 3 abreast? Oh man, they all.
Oh, we got a spin. Michael Waltrip is in the wall. Somebody hit him. 98 car looks like.
Jim Bound also involved, and there's another car spin.
Yep.
With some pretty heavy damage to the car.
Boy, when we were watching that whole group of cars that were 3 abreast coming off 4, and this happened behind that, and I don't look at it and see if we can tell what happened.
There we see Michael. He's already in the wall, and we can't really tell what happened. And back there we see Larry Pearson at the very top of the picture spinning. That's Jim Bound, the white car who ran in the back of. That's Jim Bound running in the back of the 30 car. And we see, looks like Shauna Robinson just barely.
She did a good job.
Whoa.
She did a fantastic job.
Crash coming off 2.
Oh, several cars once again involved in a crash. That's Tom Peck in 19 spinning to the inside. That's Mike Wallace carrying our in-car camera that is also crashed. Here's the 27 car of Roy Payne.
The amount of traffic as they came off that corner. Here's the in-car camera shot. We can see where the hood's broken loose in the back.
Here's a replay, and we pick it up as the spins have already begun.
Watch this yellow car, Bob. Wait, he goes out of frame, but he flew through the air like a kite.
Who was that? Do you know?
I guess it was Daughter. Was that Bobby Daughter?
Could have been, yeah.
He's in a yellow car.
Wasn't Sadler because he was running up further to the front, I believe. Or was it Fedewa in 55?
It could have been Tim Fedewa in 55, yes.
Well, here's the in-car from Mike Wallace's perspective.
To a stop.
And all you can do is hang on, isn't it?
And that was the Tim Fedewa car. Yes, it was.
The second group of cars, the first 3. Oh, we have a spin up in turn number 2. Car up into the wall. He pins someone else against the wall. And now another car becomes
another car is spun
on the apron of the track.
Now we've got a fire down there in the middle of the corner.
And others hit the brakes and slide to a stop.
We're still crashing. It's like Chad Chapman, that red car right in the center. And is that the 74 with Johnny Benson that just got in the back of him?
Well,
we have a lot of damaged race cars.
Yes, that's Chad Chaffin in the 16. Tim Fiedel in the white car.
This is the reason that we have momentarily stopped the competition. It involved an accident up in between turns 2 and 3, Benny.
And 10 cars involved. The blue car, that's Mike Garvey. The 75 car that's in the side of him is Doug Hebron. And boom, along comes, is that the 63 car or the 1 car? The white, that's 63 Jim Bound that nails Garvey right in the side. And meanwhile, we're going to see other cars come spinning in. There's another car comes. That's Roy Payne. The red car, I can't really tell the number on that. Ooh, look at Mike Wallace go down. And the 74, Johnny Benson comes in. That's Chad Chaffin in the first red car that I couldn't tell.
Watch the left-hand side of your screen here. There is Garvey going up into the wall and pinning Hebron.
Yes, right. Now they're going to come down off the wall, and the Garvey car is going to get hit again. What I really don't understand, look at the smoke to the left of them. The 34 car is sideways. We're going to need some help from the guys down in, and boom, along comes Jim Bound right in the side. We're going to definitely need some help from the guys down in the pits to try to sort this thing out as to what happened. And we see that Mike Wallace, oh, he got a crash up in turns 1 and 2 right in the middle of the corner. That's the 40 car, Patty Moise.
94 of Steve Hoddick, one of the Busch Grand National North drivers, is involved.
That black car right down the corner is Herc Schomerdine, I believe. That's Patty Moise, the Dial Purex car.
Right now with Chad Little, see what happened. Up ahead of him, about 8 or 10 cars.
And he goes in the smoke, and obviously can see nothing. He gets tagged from behind. He's still going, though.
There's Stevie Reeves, who was involved. I don't know how seriously. Chad keeps going.
There's the 51 car.
That's Jim Bound.
That's a 35 car of Doug Hebron, Cincinnati Millicron car.
He loops around a couple of times.
That one, Tommy Houston, the 6 car.
Let's see how David Green drove through the crash. Our defending series champion. Wow. There's David way down in the grass, but whoa, just missed the 94 car of Hoddick. So this is going to be a...
These guys trying to figure out what to do. Oh, man, Chad Little and Mark Martin almost made contact, and Grissom doing some serious blocking. Oh, and look at him wiggle.
Man, look at Little now. He's going to go inside. Oh, and a spin and a crash. Oh, no.
And Chad Little's going to beat Michael Walker back to the line.
And this will end the race.
Incredible. Incredible.
Steve Grissom, I guess he just checked up because he was loose all the way through 3 and 4 and just had to get out of the throttle, and then it set off a chain reaction. Well, what a bad way to end what was an absolutely wonderful and exciting race. It's too bad it had to end with a bunch of junk sitting down in turn 4. By the way, here's what happened.
Chad gets up under him and makes the 29 car loose. He wiggles. Chad's right there. It's perfect racing right there. But when Chad gets completely up under him, his car really gets out, and Mark is there to hammer him. Yep. No place for Mark to go, no place for Grissom to go, and everybody else is just blocked up. They're just pile driving themselves right now. It's Kenny Wallace, who just gets a nip right there. Continues on. Here's Terry Labonte on the inside, who ends up running second or third. These guys... Bobby Hillen, they're still coming in. There's the 3 car. David Green spinning in the background. Cars coming through the grass down pit road here, wide open, trying to get around this stuff. There were guys running 16th place that are going to finish 4th and 5th.
Yep, you're right. Yep. Here it is again. Little to the inside of Grissom. Grissom checks up, and Mark nails him.
No place to go. Nobody's fault. That's just the way it is.
And you're right. There was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're right. Probably the first 12 cars out of the top 16 all crashed coming off turn 4.
The white flag has been displayed. There is less than a lap to go before the race is over and Chad Little collects the victory. Here's Derek Copes in-car camera. Watch and listen. Whoa, that... You just hold your breath at that point. When you see the car get sideways and the smoke start coming up, you just hold on. And now, from the 20 car, the Bobby Hillen machine. It's way up ahead of him,
but the racetrack's blocked. At this point in time, Hillen doesn't know it, but the racetrack is blocked. He's on the brakes trying to get through it, and they're just checking up in front. I mean, no place for Bobby to go, no place for anybody to go, and you just keep trying to push your way through it. At the same time you're pushing your way, there's people pushing their way behind you. So he's still hitting people here, but like I say, there's nothing you can do. The best thing to do is try never to stop, to keep going, to keep pushing your way through, so you never take a hard blow.
You know, one concern that people had, they knew that they had to race back to the line because basically the race was over. That's one reason that they kept going, trying to get back to the line.
They knew. That's why you saw these guys like the 44 car come across the grass and stand back in the gas. Hillen continued to drive. Mark Martin
trying to break away. Everybody else is trying to find a place in line, and big trouble in the air. Goes Mark Martin on his roof. No, that is not. It is Ward Burton, excuse me. Jim Bound is in the wall. Phil Parsons has spun. Tommy Houston spins. And it's a tremendous slide down the front straightaway.
Mike, they're still wrecking down there in turn one.
Rodney Combs and 3 other cars have crashed at turn 1 to end this one.
Yeah, that was Ward Burton that got upside down.
The one good thing, the car did stay on the roof and it went down through there. It didn't start flopping around a whole bunch.
Yeah, the good thing is the new pavement they've done right here. That's really helped.
Darryl, he's taking the net down and coming out right now. All right.
You look back in there, oh, I see what happened. He got a tap. Ward got hit by Johnny Benson, I think it is. And that's
See the flat part of the racetrack. When he made the come back up on the racetrack, it flipped right up. The nice part of this, the car stayed on the roof. It did not start tumbling.
Right.
And everybody scatters.
Rodney Combs got in it there. You see the 43.
Yeah, it's just hard to take the evasive out. You never know which way to go. You don't know to go low. You don't know to go high. You can't hit the brakes. If you do, you crash.
And the other thing, you see all that smoke. Well, that looks bad there, but down on the racetrack it's blinding. You cannot see through that smoke.
Here's another look. You'll see the initial contact here.
The one with Cat on it just gets tapped right there.
Now, the important point, if we can stop right there, when he goes to the flat, see the roof flaps are up and they're trying to do their job. But he's gone to that sharp angle between the racetrack and the apron, and that's what allows air to get under the car.
Right, it's that transition of the racetrack.
Oof. Well, I know that looks terrible, but that was a good break that the car didn't start flipping over and over.
All right, we'll take the damage report and fill you in on who else has been involved in this incident and what the status of their cars are. When we come back, the best news we have is that as far as from in-car, what happened. This is Randy LaJoie.
Those cars up on the racetrack here.
Chad Little goes down into Mike Wallace, and Mike Wallace is going to take the slide. 3 cars, 2 cars in the wall. Mark Martin's one of them.
92 car here. Here he comes. 29 car.
Everybody else gets whoa down and away. Larry Pearson took a long slide, as did Steve Grissom. And Grissom's car, the right side's pretty torn up. You'll see the move down.
What happened? The 23 car, the 90 car takes an evasive move to the inside, and the 23 gets into him. Now, I don't know where Mark is.
He's backing up on the outside as we watch Mike Wallace in this view.
Because Mark was really, you know, he wasn't involved.
See Pearson there just going into the grass on the inside there. He did not damage the car whatsoever. He just took a long slide.
And Grissom got into the outside wall. Let's see if we can pick up Mark Martin in a second view here.
There's a. Oh, he got hit by the 29 car. Okay.
Yep.
That's what happened.
There they are.
Yeah.
As Grissom came up to try to avoid Chad Little and the 90 car Mike Wallace, he got into Mark.
Mark hit really hard on the outside there, and what happens, you've seen him limping a little bit. A lot of times your legs will get up into like the clutch pedal, and it'll really give you a whack.
He hit his.
Here's a different angle.
Again, the 90 car just pulled really down in front of Chad Little. Is kind of what it looks like. Looked like he was trying to block him, keep him going by, maybe.
Chad had made a pretty abrupt move there to drop down 2 lanes all the way underneath Mike Wallace, and it looks like just did not clear him.
That was 2 guys racing for the same spot, I think.
Well, you can see the roof flaps on the 90 car of Mike Wallace really worked that over.
Knocked my breath out. Here comes
boy.
Benson on the bottom, Fuller and Rick Wilson. Fuller!
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And tumbling goes Randy LaJoie over the hood of the 92 Larry Pearson.
There goes the page.
Back to the line, and it is Chad Little leading Jimmy Spencer to the line. A horrendous pileup out of turn 4, and we're under caution again. Middle of your screen.
Right here.
Up there into Rick Wilson. Is that Rick Wilson?
Rick Wilson on the outside.
And he's
you
going
see it
up,
start
up,
breaking
up,
loose
yeah.
right there. The back end starts around.
That's classic pull the air off of my spoiler
Yep.
right there.
Look at Johnny Benson here. How in the world did he get by this?
And Labonte turns around.
Oh, Terry.
Off of Elton Sawyer, and up goes Randy LaJoie.
I didn't even see Terry in that. Boy, look at that 6 car. I mean, it's going for a ride.
There's Reiser and Pearson.
The 47 there is Jeff Fuller. You see him coming around right now. Okay, the car is starting to wiggle just a little bit there. It's getting loose. Right now, you see the back end starting around on the car. As he comes around, everybody behind him is just a victim.
Seth Benson, who is close enough to get through. And you see Sawyer get into Labonte, turn Labonte. And up and over goes LaJoie. Reiser hits the outside wall. So does Pearson. Reiser spins Fuller around, and Labonte goes straight back into the outside wall.
Boy.
Look at Reiser's car slide after caroming off the infield pit wall. And 6 cars.
We got the fender off the tire. He said it ain't driving bad right there. We'll just need some body work done back on it so we can get back up there and try to gain a lap back.
Oh, trouble! Jason Keller. Todd Bodine, that's Todd in the blue car.
Scramble underway. Car almost turning over was Doug Hebron. A big scramble is on to try to avoid many cars coming down pit road, some of them near full speed. Joe Bessie is involved, Kevin LePage. That's a big crash.
He's the car in the middle is Jason Keller, the 57. And Cal, they take the air off his spoiler, don't they?
The worst place in the world to be on this racetrack is in the center coming out of this corner. It's not as bad over out of 2, but the car just gets sideways coming off. He runs into Michael, then back into the outside wall. He takes a heavy hit there. You see LePage go out. He takes another hit right here. Jason does right in the front. And if you watch him, he spins and spins, and he's sitting there, and he'll take one more big hit before it's all over with. And it kind of reminds me of when my father wrecked here.
That's Hebron.
There's Hebron up on his side that comes through. And, I mean, there's nothing you can do at that point. There's nothing these guys can do sitting in the car. They're just waiting to get hit time after time. And the guys that are coming in, there's stuff on the racetrack. They're cutting tires. Things are happening. There's not a lot you can do.
Pit road becomes the racetrack. They are detouring all the traffic down pit road to assist with the cleanup. Here it is again.
And Michael Waltrip was blessed in the MW Windows car that the no contact was made. And we see LePage heading for the inside wall. And there's Todd Bodine, some heavy contact. Bodine's first race for this brand new team. And here's Hebron.
Oh,
man. Hermes Sadler goes under. It looked like he went under Hebron's car.
And there's Andy Hillenberg taking a final shot.
Man, oh man. Here, let's see if.
Whiz, that's Hermes Sadler. What a frightening sight.
Great camera shot.
Being loaded onto the rollback. This is Joe Bessie's in-car camera, Benny.
Yes, he sees the smoke, he backs off. someone runs in the back of Bessie is why he spun out. But he keeps the engine running.
Now here's the dramatic shot from Hermie Sadler. Wow, and there leader Rodney Combs.
Oh, McLaughlin turns sideways, coming off the throttle.
A big wreck. Nemechek is involved. Hut Strickland survived.
Michael Waltrip was in the crash, so I see Derek Cope is in the crash.
There's McLaughlin. Here it is again.
There's McLaughlin on the inside right next to
Nemechek.
He just gets the car loose. When he saves it, he comes up, hits Nemechek, and both those cars spin. LaJoie just seems to drive right through it.
There's Michael up in the air right here in the corner.
Yep.
Goes back across the racetrack.
Here's another angle.
And there we see Derek Cope try to dodge the wreck and just turn his car sideways and spin.
There you saw Michael's car up on the wall and sliding across the track into the infield. Boy, the visibility is reduced to absolutely zero when the tires start smoking.
Now we understand why 300 cars crashed in Italy in a fog.
Right.
Here comes the leaders. Now watch behind as Nemechek and McLaughlin spin. And look at Michael, he just forced in the outside wall. Up he goes across the racetrack. Michael had no place to go, did he, Kyle?
No place to go. If you saw the car right in front of Michael was the 23 of Chad Little, who comes to another wreck unscathed, it seems like at Daytona, but he was right there. If it had been just a little bit more, it could have took out both of them, but it just ends up with Michael.
This is the blimp shot, of course.
There's Chad, there's Michael, boom, yep. There's Michael up on the wall.
Yep.
And there's Cope down on the inside. And there's Nemechek. He's the first car of the three cars that is spinning. Nemechek, Michael, and Derek Cope.
Tracy Leslie's in-car roof cam. Boy, he was a lucky boy, wasn't he?
Phil Parsons went on the inside as well.
Randy LaJoie. Like as close as he was, he may have gotten by unscathed.
Man, oh man. There's Nemechek back there as well. He was in the last caution. Oh, there's trouble. Pete Orr's around.
Another big wreck. This one in turn 2.
Is that Rodney Combs involved in that? Did I see Rodney spinning down there?
There's Lonnie Rush in the 94. Yep, you're right.
Hermie Sadler. He's involved. The hood of his car. That's the hood of his car. And Pete Orr, the Farmer's Choice Fertilizer. Tracy Leslie getting out of his car, so evidently he's okay. It looks like that the 9, well, Pete Orr goes in the corner and loses control. He goes back up the hill and makes oh, I'm sorry, that's Tracy Leslie. That's Tracy Leslie in the 11, and Pete Orr make contact and spin. And man, they just took all the options, didn't they, Cal?
Yeah, there's no, right here, if you're back 3 cars, there's no place. These guys on the bottom of the racetrack are doing good, but if you notice, the 2 cars that wrecked spun out of the way, these guys run into each other trying to get out of the way. You know, you've got guys checking up, you've got guys still in the gas, and there's no place for these guys to go. The apron's covered, the racetrack's covered, the grass is covered. All you can do is stop if you can.
Saw a little bit of fire there from one of the cars, and we also noticed that Phil Parsons was involved. Here's the blimp shot. There's the contact between the 2 cars, and they just slide up and collect a lot more.
I mean, they're just no place to go. Now there's another pack of cars coming into the wreck.
And here is the second pack as they come through.
Who is that? There we see Phil Parsons. That's the 10, the channel lock car. He gets bumped from behind by Dennis Setzer. There's Lonnie Rush and
Terry Labonte's car. Yeah.
Terry Labonte, we saw the flash from.
Yeah.
Mike Dillon, the 72 car, was able to get by. Man.
Joe Bessie. Hermie Sadler. That's the second wreck that Hermie has been or almost been in today. And that was what's.
Thank you.
So that's what just happened to Purvis. Oh, there goes a car crazy.
Yeah, one gone. Got a big crash.
Is that Phil? Phil Parsons. Oh, no, it's not. There's the 3 car. I told you them commercials will get you.
Oh.
Big crash, big crash.
Who's that? Is that Chad?
Larry Pearson.
Larry Pearson.
I believe Chad was
no.
in it, though. I think I saw a green car. No, he's coming around.
That started, I'm sure, with Phil. It looked like a tire cut down or something.
Back here, that's Phil on the inside. Oh, I see. He gets clipped right here by
Greg Sachs.
Greg Sachs, yeah. Into the outside wall he goes, and when he starts to hit that outside wall, cars have nowhere to go. Debris flying everywhere. It's amazing that as many cars got through that did. Of course, Phil's car is just taking a tremendous pounding here as he goes into the outside wall.
Well, here comes the trouble as that car comes down across the track.
Fish line spins around. So does Tracy Leslie in the green number 11 car. Is that Mike Wallace up there on the high side? It looks like was in.
Mike Carmen was in that in the 24 car.
Okay.
Second part of this incident. There's where he's collected. That's Larry Pearson head on into him there.
Boy, it's hard to tell. There's so many cars. Yeah, so many cars. Was that Mike Wallace?
Yes, it was up on the outside.
Yeah. Here we go.
Riding with Phil Parsons as he's tabbed by Greg Sachs.
He's trying to get. I guess Sachs was trying to get down in behind him possibly, and they just clipped each other.
Shot Phil right up into the outside wall.
And that's a shame. Phil's had, a couple of 3 bad weeks here. I know Milwaukee and New Hampshire, and now this. Oh, goodness, look at that shot.
And they're still wrecking.
Phil Parsons, 6 in points.
Was involved in it one way or another, and they would be more careful than this.
Yeah, right. And the guy that made the speech at the drivers' meeting is, we got a bad crash in the back straightaway. Rodney Combs. Combs has crashed. They're trying to avoid him, and here comes the trouble.
See, you can't avoid. Once you see a car spin in front of you, you get on the brakes, and everybody wrecks. This is actually a bigger crash than the one we just had.
Kenny Wallace is involved.
Mike McLaughlin right here with the front end dragging.
Hermie Sadler in the car number 1. There's Patty Louise in car number 14. She gets her car going. Yeah.
Back to the strike they come. And I'm sure they're all giving hand signals.
Well, of course, they were all bunched up coming off of turn 2.
Gosh, Ned, it
looked like Rodney was at the back of the pack.
He was by himself and looked like the car just made a hard right, like something happened to it.
And there were 2 separations of cars. There was a little bit of distance in between a pack back there, and that pack was coming up on him as he was spinning around, and that's what really caused the big trouble.
There's that second hit.
Yeah, he got hit right in the driver's door, and boy, I tell you, that is disastrous. But Ned, I'm just curious as to what happened to that car, because it was back there all by itself, and it made a violent turn to the right as if something happened to it. Mechanically.
I agree. It looks like that either.
Holmes. Ernie Sadler, you're riding with the number 1 car.
Oh.
Well, you could see that he couldn't see.
No, he couldn't. And you know that pop, that noise you hear when he hit that car?
Tony Stewart.
Was that Mark Martin?
That's Mark Martin that he hit.
Here comes another car.
He was running in 5th spot, back there in 9th or 10th.
There's 99.
And the 99 gets collected as well. Glenn Allen, the rookie.
It's running close together coming off of turn 2. You can see how bunched up they were, and one car got out against the wall.
That's Joe Bessie.
Joe Bessie's car, number 6, and he shoots back down across the racetrack, and everybody's scrambling. You see Jarrett all the way down on the grass, and here comes the Stevie Reeves car, number 96, sliding across there, and Jarrett lost control of his car down in the grass and slid back up across the racetrack and right into Shane Hall, I believe, and he ran into the car number 97 of Doug Reed.
Yeah, that all started back in turn 2, Ned, when Bessie got into the outside wall, and of course, you know, it probably broke something in the car, and he come flying across in front of the rest of the field. The grass down the back straightaway is wet, and once you get out in there, you're out of control, and that's what happened to Dale Jarrett. He just slid down there and got back out in the racetrack in front of everybody.
Daytona.
Well, here are the leaders up front, and you can see how bunched up they are back in the back. And Joe Bessie might have got a little tap.
I think he got hit. Yeah. I think he got hit by Hermie Sadler, actually.
And then they started sliding everywhere. There, Jarrett came back across.
I think Jarrett got tagged by Stevie Reeves, who was sliding. That's what turned him back into the racetrack.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that because he turned out all of a sudden. See, we've run just enough laps at
the turn 2 moments ago.
Well, there's the 24 car of Amick, or Hutto, the black car. He loses it just by himself there. The back end gets out from under him. He scoots back up across the racetrack, and usually that is not good, and it isn't in this case because the 99 car had spun and hit something back there, and the car number 35 of Lyndon Amick then came along with him, and Stan Barrett and the car number 81 got involved as well. All of those cars hitting very hard.
Those are huge hits. That's at about 185 or 90 miles an hour.
500.
Not only on the racetrack. Trouble.
Kevin LePage around, spinning, coming to the inside.
There's a car going down through the grass. Looks like Mark Martin.
That's Bound. Bound to the 51. Jim Bound spinning. LePage able to gather it up, and he continues on. There you see Jimmy Bound's car down there.
There are 5 cars down on the grass at least.
Yeah. They're coming through here.
There's the 88 car of Kevin LePage.
Jimmy Spencer.
Jimmy Spencer touches him there.
Yeah.
Spins him around. And
Sadler got, he got big. He got lots of damage.
That's the white car up on the outside wall, and then others trying to dodge back there either got tapped or whatever.
From inside LePage's car, watch the ride that Shelburne, Vermont's Kevin LePage is about to take.
There she goes. She's coming around.
He got tapped just a little bit on the left rear quarter panel.
Yeah, look at the hood. The air under the car and all captured under the car is blowing the top of the hood wide open there. Turns around, settles back down. Roof flaps up.
From inside Jeff Burton's car.
All he sees here is smoke.
Yep. And that's not a good sign. He wants to get it slowed down. He tried to go on the outside. He hit the 7 car there of Mike Wallace. And so that's where the damage was done on both of those cars then.
And Mark Martin can give you this story.
Boy, Mark's right on top of this.
There you saw Jeff Burton and Mike Wallace get together right in front of Mark Martin, and then he can't see anything for a moment. Then it clears out and say, wait a minute, I got through this thing.
Yeah. Mark's very fortunate he didn't get hit from behind because there's a lot of cars behind him. But you notice how he held a very straight and steady line right through the middle of the racetrack, and that got him through that.
One more time.
There it is as it came through this tri-oval. Just a little bit of a nudge on the left rear quarter panel.
Spencer collecting LePage.
Sending LePage around.
Here's Mike.
Well, let's see. We just talked about Fishline. What a great job he's doing. Well, he just got her a little loose off turn 2 there.
Comes right back up and hits Tim Fedor, car number 33, Mark Martin. Tries to dodge him in the car 60, and he cut it a little bit too sharp.
Yeah.
And then lost control up onto the outside wall and then bounces back down into the grass.
And for the 6th year, trouble for Mark Martin follows him into this 300.
Yeah. Here he comes. This out of Mark's car, and he's coming off of turn 2 here, and all of a sudden he sees trouble. He says, which way should I go? Oh, he's going to come back across. Let me go inside. No, I can't get between them.
Oh, here comes the ouch.
He just had to cut it so sharp that it broke loose.
Yeah, he was going so fast, he got the car swinging, and he couldn't hold on to it.
Speed shot on the wall gives you this look.
Oh, here he comes. Duck. Yo. See those sparks fly?
Mark Martin's view and sound, regular speed. Tough way to end today.
Did you hear him? He saw the accident. He got out.
And Phil Parsons is being shown as our leader. We'll be right back. Well, somebody's on fire. Yeah. I know it. I just mentioned Dennis Setzer. That's Elton Sawyer's car that's still flying.
Knocked the left front wheel off and then knocked the oil line off.
He almost got on the side. He hit a car that was coming down across the track and got way up.
Dennis Setzer hit that guy a ton down there.
They come through the tri-oval here at the Talladega Superspeedway, and you see the 00 of Buckshot Jones. Hit from behind, gets down into Joe Nemechek, the pole sitter, and they go spinning. And then there's Elton Sawyer hitting the Buckshot Jones car, and Elton's car gets up off the ground, then catches on fire as it goes out through there.
You see the tire jumping along? That is Elton Sawyer's left front tire. He hit so hard, he literally sheared the left front off his car, and now he's broken an oil line, and that's the fire that we see is oil on the exhaust system. He's heading for the grass, trying to find some water to put that out. Another angle. From behind. There we see the 00 car go down, and there's Nemechek, no place to go. Bam, heavy contact. Now cars with no place to go. The 34 car goes to the outside trying to dodge, but he gets turned right in front of the 43 car. Heavy contact. There's Elton Sawyer's tire that I was talking about. That's a tire, spindle, everything. Thing probably weighs 125 pounds as it goes bouncing down the racetrack.
So it looks like Buckshot Jones may have gotten a little bump from behind in the tri-oval as the crews now watch. Here is from the Nemechek pit. There's Martha watching. No fear like that of a mother or father watching their son at contact at Talladega.
And he was just an innocent victim there of someone else's mistake.
Right in front of the Joe Nemechek car, the 00 gets turned. Now we see the 34 car, boom, heavy contact. There, Elton Sawyer almost goes flipping. Now here comes the tire that I was talking about. And now we see the oil getting on the exhaust and the fire starting. And then we see Jimmy Foster also spinning down.
That's Jimmy Foster's car right there. He was right in the middle of that deal.
And now we'll take a look at it from Joe Nemechek's vantage point where he had nowhere to go.
Folks, you were just riding at 190 miles per hour when you went sideways.
Kyle Petty's car spinning backwards there. There's what's left of that wheel assembly. And now from Dennis Setzer's viewpoint, and he was on a move and a car came right in front of him. Watch the car come left to right in front of your screen.
He thought he was through there, and all of a sudden that car just came right up into him.
Now that was the Mike McLaughlin.
The jump that Mike McLaughlin has. 2 cars out front of the field.
It don't take them long to get 3 wide down the back straightaway. They got trouble already.
Pro turns around. Is that Glenn Allen that's gone for 2 spins?
and about half a dozen cars are going to be involved. That was the black Chevrolet of Glen Allen.
Look at Joe Bessie's number 6 there. It's up on top of another car as they slide down off the bank.
For the 6th time, this race has seen a massive crash in its very first lap. There's number 80, Mark Crow, pulling away. Joe Bessie.
We'll take a look and see what happened. They were beginning to get bunched up as they were heading into turn 3.
Looks like Randy LaJoy may have gotten into the back of 56, Jeff Crow.
Yeah.
And there goes Glen Allen spinning.
Glen Allen almost turned over there. You see Jeff Burton going on the outside there, just skirting by. Mark Martin shoots by in the 60 there in the middle. And after that, it's just a chain reaction. You really can't see very well, and it's hard to avoid the cars in front of you. Just like on the interstate or anywhere else, when they start hitting, things happen like that.
Heading into turn 3. A very narrow needle to thread for the rest of the drivers coming through.
Yes, as those cars were sliding, first of all, they were putting up a lot of smoke off the tires as they were spinning around, and then they were pretty well taking up the asphalt also going into the turn, so they didn't have anywhere to go. And they were getting up to, it takes them a little more than a lap to get up full speed, but they still were running over 160 or 70 miles an hour.
From Jeff Burton's car,
right in the middle of the Talladega National Forest. Joe Nemechek, the leader, as the field's in the tri-oval. And
trouble! 89 car. Stanton Barrett gets tagged, goes across the racetrack. Elliott Sadler's involved. David Green, Andy Santerre, the yellow cars involved. Heavy damage to these cars.
Heavy damage. First caution flag today coming out here on lap number 6. If we can show you what happened.
Ever see the Stanton Barrett car? The white car goes down, tags the 66 of Sadler. Now he's going back across the racetrack right in front of David Green. Goes up, hits the outside retaining wall. Now Green's going to come off the racetrack, and other cars trying to make the evasive moves. Oh, he drives right in the side of the yellow car of Santerre.
Wow. Once again, caution on lap number 6. Those cars involved, we see it at a little bit different angle.
Never see the cars, never see Stanton Barrett. Stanton Barrett comes up and gets tagged by Lyndon Amick, I believe.
And Stanton tried to come up into a hole that wasn't there. And that's just not being able to feel where the cars are sometimes. Then you can see the cars go up the racetrack, down the racetrack, back up the racetrack again. A few drivers did an incredible job. Santerre did an incredible job. Just got caught from the backside by a car coming rougher than what they used to.
Oh, big crash!
One car gets turned sideways in the tri-oval. Hermie Sadler is involved at 93, and Dave Blaney is involved.
Go high, go high, go high, go high. There's no one spinning down the bottom.
One car airborne against the catch fence.
And they're still looking down in the corner.
Keep in line, Joe.
77 cars involved, the 96.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. also involved, has some damage.
So here on lap number 23.
And Dave Blaney climbs out of his car, and be careful, Dave.
Let's see if we can see what happened as there was contact right in the tri-oval.
And never see Dave Blaney gets hit, and flam, he turns over and hits the wall with the roof of the car, it looked like.
I think what they did, they ran up on Blaney. It looked like they ran up on Blaney, and somebody checked up. And Earnhardt Jr. got in the back of, you got to see it right
Hermie
here.
Sadler's car number 29 there.
If you see Hermie Sadler, the 29 car, here's Blaney to the inside. They're just about, the yellow car's right here, just about getting to even with him. And as you can see right here, as he goes by, the 3 car turns Hermie Sadler, which turns Hermie Sadler into the 93, sends him back across the racetrack. It's just, you're so close, such close quarters, that as they race right there, somebody checks up just a little bit to give somebody a little bit of room. There's no place to go.
That's it, right. The slow car. Let's take a look from our onboard camera with Jeff Purvis. You know, Jeff Purvis never knew that was coming. He was still wide open on the throttle when he got hit.
He thought he was past the wreck at that point in time.
Matt Kenseth.
Great job right there.
He did a terrific job getting through that crash.
There's a different angle looking back up toward the tri-oval from the inside of the racetrack. Wow, that's Blaney's car on its roof right against the catch fence and did its job and shoved him back onto the racetrack as we check in down in the pits with Jack Arute.
Gary, you would think if you were on your roof and you were on fire like Dave Blaney was, that you might have other things to think about than having the wherewithal to radio to your crew. But that's what Dave Blaney did.
Have to pit at some point in time here pretty quick because there's the two of the cars that haven't quit. When they check up.
Oh, LaJoie gets touched from behind. Tony Stewart, big crash up in the corner.
Keep coming.
Huge crash as cars slide, spin, and slam up in turn 4.
Hey, Randy.
Fire-ups from beneath one car as they race back to the lead. Phil Parsons, the 10 car, McLaughlin, the 34. NASCAR will have to make the call there.
There's the Randy LaJoie, two-time Busch Grand National champion. He's trying to get back to the fence, but you see the car does not want...
Replay of what happened.
There's the 63 they were talking about. Right there, he just touches LaJoie. Just touches him in the corner. LaJoie, and then there's no place for the other cars to go. The 17 Kenseth is involved. I mean, there's 12 cars involved, 10 cars.
There's no place for anybody to go. You can see at one time the 44 car of Stewart and the 17 of Kenseth has the entire track blocked from the wall all the way down.
Just a touch, just the least touch from Tracy Lester, the 63 car of LaJoie. And look at the cars piling in with no place to go.
Blaze Alexander involved. The 33 of Tim Fedewa is involved. 44 of Tony Stewart. Now riding along with the onboard camera of Jess Purvis.
And Purvis was waving and said, come on, let's go. I don't think so, Jeff. If you knew I was up there, you wouldn't want to go too hard. He cannot see anything. And guess what? So far, he hasn't hit anything. Is he going to get through this? He got through without hitting anything.
Now for Matt Kenseth in-car camera.
He's going to hit something. Just listen.
Helicopter cam. Here's what they had to try to drive through without being able to see a thing. We're talking about traffic behind this.
LaJoie gets tagged. Phil Parsons gets by on the outside. Buckshot gets by on the outside. And 87 gets by. And then the hole closes. And you see all that smoke. And there's no place to go.
Once again, lap number 60. These cars involved. Nemechek's rear bumper cam. In fourth position. 41 laps remain at Talladega Superspeedway. In the Touchstone Energy 300, Buckshot Jones is our leader. Talladega Superspeedway, the Touchstone Energy 300. The 00 showing lead in trouble.
Tracy Lester's in the crash. Dick Trickle's in the crash. That's Jeff Crow, the yellow car on the inside. Heavy damage to his car.
Dick Trickle's car involved. Right along from his in-car camera, see if we can see what happened.
I don't know that Trickle hit anything hard.
And I'm not sure why it happened. It looked like the car in front of Trickle just takes off instantly, which is the 63 car.
Yeah, Tracy Leslie all of a sudden just takes off. I don't know if there was contact or the rear tire went flat on the 63 or exactly what happened.
Yeah, Trickle's car, it didn't look like there was any contact with Trickle's car with the 63. It just instantly just jumped out from under Tracy.
Let's check into the Dick Trickle pits with Jack Arute.
And there's Ron Hornaday working the bottom of the race
racetrack now against Parsons.
And his car working very well. Look at him really shoot on in front of him.
One car in the air. Spins around in that big smoke cloud. There are more cars wrecking behind them. Oh, and Waltrip's car had come to a stop and got pounded. Andy Santerre. Oh, last year's Rookie of the Year from Maine. That's Santerre, number 47, that is wrecked. Here is Michael Waltrip's car. And that is Waltrip's car was stopped when it got hit, and it got slammed into by a third machine, way number 21.
He might have had a little bit of help there. It looked like Kansas might have got into the back. You see the car trying to get up the flaps on the roof there. Help get it back down. That keeps the car from flying backwards and getting all and turning over back there.
But look at all of this smoke, and those drivers coming in there, they can't see where they're going, and they, as Mike said, they're slowing down, and then they start hitting each other and further intensifying the wreck.
Let's show you a different angle of it.
There they're coming off of turn 2, and you can see the yellow car of Kansas, and you see those roof flaps that Buddy mentioned there. Keeps the car down on the ground, but look at all that smoke.
Adam Petty gets past. Now Michael Waltrip sitting and looking.
Just hoping nobody will hit him.
Well, and he knows there's a lot of trouble behind him because he can see them coming.
Yeah, he's facing them there.
Hillenberg slides by. Now watch, I believe it's Andy Santerre. It is who piles into Waltrip. It's Andy Santerre, and that's how Santerre's leg got injured. That side-on slide into Michael Waltrip. Let's watch and listen from Elton Sawyer. This is from Jimmy Kitchen's car.
He said, I made it through there, but I'm down on the grass.
Another look from the back straightaway as Matt Kenseth turns Michael Waltrip around, and here they all come.
Boy, Ron Hornaday in the 31 just did get by there.
And the more cars that start sliding their wheels and creating smoke, the more gets involved in it.
You know, Ned, that could have been twice.
Let's get set for the restart, Ned. Lyndon Amick did not pit under that caution flag, and he is the leader.
Trouble on the start. He get a good start. Took Earnhardt with him. Earnhardt didn't get squared away in time. Other cars still spinning and sliding down there.
Mike McLaughlin made contact with Earnhardt in the grass. He's got damage to his car.
And that's Ron Hornaday, number 31. The front of his Chevrolet is destroyed.
And as you were saying, Lyndon Amick did not pit, and he just didn't come up to speed. Everybody else was expecting it. Here's Todd Bodine, a lot of damage on his car.
And dejection in the pits of the national champion Earnhardt Jr. Restart.
Okay, you can see he's on the outside. That's a lap car down on the inside.
That's Earnhardt Jr. in second right there.
And see, he didn't get a good start. Earnhardt got a good start, hit him, and then got Terry Labonte involved. Then Todd Bodine came in there. Matt Kenseth got involved in car number 17. There's Phil Parson coming into the picture in number 10.
See Terry Labonte nowhere to go. Right on the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt gets into him, turns up there.
And folks, all it takes is the amount of time to try to get your foot from the gas pedal to the brake pedal. Those cars are running so close together and at such speed. From Mike McLaughlin's roof cam.
Oh, they see all that smoke. All the way down on the grass, but he gets hit anyway. He thought he had it dodged.
And another thing that happens on a situation like that, you're coming down, let's ride down here with Terry Earnhardt and see what happens.
Through there. Jason Jarrett was right in front of him. He got through it.
This is Ron Hornaday, who did not get through
it. He thought he was making the right move. Ooh, there's the hit lick to Phil Parsons, and that was a hard one.
Man.
Jimmy Kitchens.
He says, please don't come out in front of me, but he did.
That just wailed the left side of Hornaday after Hornaday ran into Phil Parsons.
Mike, as I was saying just a moment ago, watch Earnhardt on the high side as he comes along. Great run. Watch him right there. He makes contact into the back of Amick's car, and here he goes around. That collects everybody.
Now from the blimp, from the Bud 1 airship, you're going to see Earnhardt's blue car come up right against Amick and try to get away to the right when Amick doesn't come to speed. The blue car is Earnhardt. Here he comes. Now he's going to try to get off him, and Terry Labonte gets in the back of Earnhardt.
Exactly. Of course, Terry couldn't see what was going on up there. He was just following Earnhardt. And, boy, that was a mess. Big wreck, not even up to speed.
One pinball and a lot of flippers. Hold on to your chair, folks. Once again from Jimmy Kitchens. And let's really slow this down from the Bud 1 airship. Now watch the red car. See if he gets into the back there of Earnhardt. Right there.
He did, but Earnhardt got in the back of Amick. He was really in the throttle right there, and you say, how do they do that? But you're in the accelerator. You're not on the brake, and you have to react. And when that car is that slow, all of a sudden you're there, and there's no time to react.
No, I was saying that just to note the contact, not to fix blame. There's no blame to be placed.
No blame at all. No.
The only blame is, and he certainly couldn't help it, was Lyndon Amick just didn't get
last season's runner-up. Matt Kenseth with him.
Excuse me, I noticed Terry Earnhardt got stopped.
He did. He's around backwards now, spinning down toward the tri-oval.
Jason Jarrett got into Larry Pearson. The other base motorsports car, Tony Raines, is involved.
Jeff Fuller is in it. Dick the 00, Larry Pearson, Dick Trickle, Johnny Benson, and the number 50 is in it as well, Mark Green.
The wreck started way back in the middle of the number 3 corner. You can see Matt Kenseth in the 17 on the bottom side. Kerry's on the high side. They make a little touch right there, you see, and that gets the car sideways as he starts off turn 4. I could tell this was going to be big.
Pearson 00 spins, gets into the side of Fuller. Racing along the wall there was Green. The cars like rain slide up the racetrack and into the wall. Let's ride with Kerry Earnhardt.
They're right there. They make contact.
Well, it's been the Grand Crassional Series today.
Oh, it sure has.
And another look from the infield side of the speedway.
And when he came off of the wall back down in front of a lot of other cars, they started hitting each other, and then the racetrack was just closed up. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, Mark Green there in the 50, he had nowhere to go at all. He was just collected up as Kerry went down the wall. He was scrubbing off more speed than the brakes would scrub off on the 50 car of Mark Green.
One more look coming out of turn 4 from high atop the roof here.
The racetrack completely closed up, and even the end of pit road.
And once again, ride with Kerry Earnhardt.
They make contact right there, and that gets him sideways. Now into the outside wall, sliding around, and you can see everybody spinning around him.
Of the cars involved, so far, only Johnny Benson.
There, underneath the 27 car, Casey Atwood almost lost control.
And a big...
Oh, trouble, trouble!
Oh,
one car upside down.
Casey Atwood. And sliding through the grass, Kenson.
White and
around.
White and yellow flag.
Atwood's car is destroyed. And did the leader get the caution flag?
I believe he did.
If he did, they will slow to the checkered flag. If not, they have to come around. Mike McLaughlin's car, left front torn up. The leaders did get the yellow. One lap down. Watch that number 27 car on the left side of your screen.
Andy Hillenberg gets in the back of him, and he gets into the outside wall. You can see the 18 car there. The hood's all torn up on it where he got in the back of Casey Atwood.
It was right up and almost over Mike McLaughlin.
Comes back down on the back end and then back to the front end.
There goes the radiator and the spring.
Now the good part is that probably looks really bad to the racing fan, but it's sliding on the roof. That's where all the roll cage is. It does not start turning over until it scrubs off a tremendous amount of speed. Now watch him when he hits the grass here. It'll turn over several times there, but the speed is down where it's not like 190 miles an hour crash.
Casey Atwood's Daytona dream ended one lap too soon.
Watch right here when they make contact. He's in a straight line, makes contact there without Andy Hillenberg, who was right behind him, run right in the back of him.
And you see McLaughlin lose control there after he bounced off of Hillenberg as Atwood flew up and over him. Here's a look from behind.
Didn't take much, but right into the back and turned him right into the wall.
You know, it almost looked like Mike McLaughlin might have been pushing Andy Hillenberg, and he had no way to back off.
They were coming down to get the white flag, and certainly were going for it.
Watch this.
You're riding with Mike McLaughlin. No.
Definitely Andy Hillenberg got in the back of him. That's all.
Oh, we've heard that too much today.
Wow.
You saw the officials with the caution flag out very quickly as leader Randy LaJoie came to the flag. But as we mentioned, LaJoie not sure if he had passed under the caution or not, came around at speed.
See them coming in a straight line there. They make contact. You'll see 27 just turn right from the contact from behind.
When that car gets sideways to the wind, a little bit of uncontrollable lift there.
And amazingly, Hillenberg comes on around to finish in 4th place.
See the damage to the right front corner, but like you say, Ned, he did make it around.
And the best thing that happened to Casey Atwood inside that car is that each one of those impacts took off a little more speed, a little more momentum. Exactly. As it went over and around.
If that had happened right there while he was still running 180 miles an hour, it would have been much worse.
Well, all right. Let's see from the blimp and see the relationship. That white car McLaughlin you see is a couple of feet back of Hillenberg. They just touch.
Boy, what a shot. That tells the story.
McLaughlin, 34, almost gets through there. A wild ride for 18-year-old Casey Atwood, a brush with the wall for 18-year-old Adam Petty, and the fellow they both call the old man proves once again at Daytona that old age and experience is a match for youth.
You're on the outside. Oh! Schrader hard in the outside.
Schrader up high on the outside. Car sliding on the inside. 2, 3, 4, 5 cars now sliding, careening together in turn 1. One car erupts in flames down in turn 1 as they continue to have impact. As now there is flame burning all the way across the racetrack. The rear end impact apparently rupturing the fuel cell on the back of one of these Busch cars And what we dread at Talladega has just taken place here on lap 68. That is the camera looking at the back of Kenny Schrader's car. And he is out of the car, but apparently the hard impact, he is away from the race car. That hard impact now has ripped open that 22-gallon fuel cell, and he just pitted not long ago, so probably had about 18 gallons in there. And now you see the heat beginning to burn and melt away the camera inside. What happened here a moment ago, 11 cars in a draft in the tri-oval.
There we see Kelly Denton. Kelly Denton runs up into the back of Kenny Schrader, and that's what we're talking, the bump drafting. When they pick those rear tires off the ground, that is a problem. Turned him in the outside wall. There goes Jeff Green, and meanwhile, here comes this huge pack of cars with nowhere to go except into a smoke where they can see nothing, Kyle.
Yeah, and it's exactly like we always talk about. Then Schrader gets hit again over here, and that's where the fire starts. You saw somebody come down off the bank and hit him again. But we talk about Talladega. There's always multiple wrecks. Schrader was one wreck. When Kelly Denton runs in the back of Kenny Schrader right here and turns him, there's your wreck right there. Then all of a sudden somebody runs in the back of the 32 car and spins him down. Here he comes down across the thing here. He spins. There's your wreck right there. There's plenty of room to get through. The guys behind them, they can't see it. Somebody checks up. The next pack starts running into each other, and you'll see them start running into each other right here. They kick the 59 out of position here. All of a sudden, the racetrack is blocked. You can't see anything. You're driving in there blind, and everybody runs over everybody, and there's no place for anybody to go.
Now the Briggs & Stratton roof camera from Kenny Schrader. Buckle up and ride along as you watch this accident at 195 miles an hour. There's the impact. Continuing to spin around 360 down in turn one. Now here's traffic coming right at him. He almost comes to a stall and gets hit again in the backside. The Jeff Krogh car erupting in flames. When Schrader got hit the second time, there was fire on the racetrack, and the fire ran all the way back down to his race car along that trail of gasoline and reignited.
There was Shane Hall driving in. You see Phil Parsons, Brad Loney. I mean, they must have half the field down in turn one. Once again, we see Schrader hard in the outside retaining wall. Debris flying every place. Now watch this. Here comes a big wreck. Our camera moves, but watch the big wreck. Oh, that sounds so ugly.
And you see the fire running over to the back of Schrader.
Okay.
11.
Let's see what happened here. Coming through the tri-oval.
Jeff Green gets a little assistance there from behind, and you can see the car just lifting off the ground right there. It rolls several times here, but you notice the part that he's in does not really hit the racetrack. It rolled on the nose and then settled down on the racetrack. The flaps did their job. They have flaps in the roof of these cars to keep them from flying and just
damage here to several cars.
So here's Jeff Green, and see as we come up on him here.
Okay, they're just now coming in the dogleg. Right here, they make contact. You can see him getting sideways right there. Now watch the car just lift right off the ground about here and starts to fly. I can tell you those cars on the outside, they're going, let me get by, and everybody missed him as he slides across there.
Look at Fedowa just shoot right through all that traffic to the infield grass without getting hit. I believe the car that made contact was Bobby Hamilton Jr., number 26. And it looked to me as if Hamilton was as low on the racetrack as he could be. There's his white car. He's right down against the white line.
He looked like Green might have come down a little bit as he went through the tri-oval.
Well, and at that place, the car is very, very light. And you could, if you could physically get your hand out the window, you could make a car slide by just touching it with your hand. That's how light they are in that area of the racetrack.
The luckiest fellow in Daytona right then was Tim Fedowa, because he locked the car down and cut it left and came all the way across without incident. Let's ride with Jeff Green.
looked like he saw that opening down there on the inside groove and was going to go down there and try to pick up the draft, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. was right there.
From Joe Nemechek's car.
He said, boy, I was ready to get through that.
And that was Fedewa you saw shooting across the track in front. And Jeff Green once more.
He dives down to the inside, doesn't quite get in that low groove until he hits the other car. And like Buddy said, it doesn't take much at that point of the racetrack.
Boy, that's a nasty feeling when you see sky, dirt, sky, dirt. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've been there. It's not a pleasant thought.
I'm afraid that's the last pick. Purvis, number 4.
Ron Hornaday.
Oh, trouble.
One car spinning across the racetrack to pit road. Here comes another into the grass. Hillen is spinning. Borkowski spinning, and Kenny Irwin drives through the grass to miss them both. Caution is out.
Kenny Irwin has a lot of damage to the front of his car, and you can see a lot. Well, Kenny Irwin there in the middle. Bobby Hillen on the outside there. He gets a little tap as they start out of the corner in the 8 car. See Borkowski there fighting to get control back into Kenny Irwin and into the outside wall as they spin towards the grass down the front straightaway.
Hard to see if Hillen came down or Borkowski came way up the racetrack. Might have been a little of both. Let's watch from Kenny Irwin's on board and see.
Oh, yeah, I think the 20 car went up the racetrack.
Ow!
Kenny Irwin, who had just come out of the pits a lap before, was right in the middle of it.
And managed to avoid sliding back up onto the racetrack. From trackside. And again, watch the 20 car on the bottom.
That's arrow push as they start off. That's the same thing that happened in the Bud shootout the other day when the 40 car Sterling Marlin went up and made contact on the car outside of him.
Mike Borkowski's from Middlebury, Connecticut. He's a graduate and former champion of SCCA Sports 2.
That was the tail end of it. He released the last car on the lead lap.
Oh, trouble! 5 cars up in the wall at turn 1.
There's fire coming out of the car right up against the wall there.
77 is Chad Chaffin.
Hut Strickland in the 61.
And the car's still wrecking off, coming off of turn 2 on the backstretch.
Heading for turn 1.
See, the cars are all bunched up together going into the turn.
Okay, right there you can see the 77 car, Chad Chaffin, getting in trouble. He goes up and collects Hut Strickland in the 61. Fire breaks out as they slide along the wall, and you can see many other cars involved in the accident just behind there.
And some cars taking evasive action, getting down on the flat part of the racetrack and coming on around. Now, whether when they came off of that flat part, that caused the second wreck, don't know yet.
Well, Elton Sawyer got into those two. That's what damaged his car, and there was one other car that hit the 2 of them. There's the aftermath. And the initial contact appeared to be from Jack Sprague. That is Hornaday's car down at the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, they all stopped on the back straightaway. The real wreck was over going into turn 1 there. Wow.
Looks like fuel pump broken off one of those cars up in the left front location. Those are the flames you see. Most of that smoke is tire smoke. The best news, everybody climbed out. Okay. Let's show you what Ron Hornaday saw. Now that's Chad Chaffin, the red car to his right.
He gets turned right in front of him.
There goes Casey Atwood, yeah, on the inside there.
And here's the second part of it. Off turn 2, Adam Petty hard in the wall.
You know, I saw a piece of a tire go up in the air there. It looked like he had a flat tire, and the actual part of the radial tire came off as he hit the wall there. So Adam Petty probably had a flat tire that triggered that.
From Randy LaJoie, watching Adam Petty in turn 2.
Yeah, you can see the tire itself came right off there. Adam Petty was in trouble. He actually went down on the flat there and then back.
Was it Sauter down? I think. He's going to get a tap here, Ned, as he comes off the tri-oval down on the inside of the racetrack.
Right there, he gets touched right there. Now this car goes way up in the air. When it turns around, you see it start to fly there. Turns completely up and pancakes right down on the roof.
That's what did all that roof damage you were talking about. Then it goes into a barrel roll.
Side over side, many, many times. Now it's on the nose of the car and then hits hard on the back.
That looked much like Ricky Rudd's flip here in 1984 in what was then the Busch Clash. Here's another look. Jay Sauter has a little push coming out of the tri-oval and just gets into Waltrip.
And they were just coming out of the tri-oval, and at that point of the racetrack, you're almost out of control anyway, buddy, and just a little tap sent him around.
Absolutely. And the other thing, the roof flaps couldn't work because it went around so quickly, and the minute the back addressed the air, it went straight up in the air.
Buddy, the pits are open. Dick Berggren.
Kevin Harvick for Blaze is he cannot see a thing out the front windshield. He said either the 33 or the 43 car, and there's a crash out on the racetrack.
All right, buddy, big crash behind you. Caution's going to be out.
Multi-car crash here on lap number 18 at Talladega.
And once again,
turn 3.
And right there's a contact between the 34 car of David Green and the 82 of Derek Gilchrist. And Green goes around. Mike Dillon's involved. There we see David Starr in the 16 car. And Matt Hutter, the 51 car, is involved. 53 car, Hank Parker Jr. is involved. Another angle. Here's where they make the contact. 4 breaths. We keep holding our breath when they get 4 breaths. That's why we hold our breath, because again, they have to be so precise. Looks like Jimmy Johnson, the 92 car, also involved, right?
Yeah, it does, Benny. And, you know, when you're down that low on the racetrack, it looked like the left front wheel from David Green's car might have just clipped the apron, and it's really hard to make a car turn when that happens, and I think it just shot him up the racetrack a little bit.
You see our cameras above showing you Green's car spinning around. Hank Parker Jr. unable to avoid it, trying to go up high around the outside in that Team Marine Chevrolet. So at least give him a big hug, might even give him a kiss, because that car, whoa, trouble.
Go low, go low, go low. You got a spin at 1 and 2.
LaJoie is involved. Jason Leffler is involved. Heavy contact with 33 of Tony Raines. Heavy impact. There is Raines. Alka-Seltzer.
Somebody got into LaJoie.
Let's show you again what happened here on lap 60 just moments ago.
Dick Trickle gets together with the 43 car of Jay Sauter. Oh, the wreck's going on already. LaJoie comes up and bam! Trickle, all that damage to Trickle's car is in the left side of LaJoie's car.
That Trickle was trying to get up across the racetrack. He must have seen the 1 car spinning. He had nowhere to go because there were 2 cars to his outside, and he tagged the 1 car of LaJoie right in the door.
That's the 35 car of Linda Namick, the black and white car that you see there. Casey Atwood drives through.
Different angle looking back at turn 2 again.
Tim Fedewa, Jason Leffler, Tony Raines.
just in front of the left side door. Sorry, Benny, is where the impact was for Trickle and LaJoy. See Amick's car spinning, and now from Randy LaJoy's onboard camera. Dick Trickle, Snyder, trucking roof camera.
Right there we see the contact with the one car of Lincoln.
Trickle has nowhere to go.
Here that haven't been near the front all day, and now they got a chance to get up there and race for the lead. Oh, here we go, here we go.
One car at the bottom and two up top.
It's the big one.
Oh, there's cars everywhere.
That's the big one.
Not a question of if, but when.
When they get bunched up, particularly on restarts, buddy, you just never know what's going to happen.
You see 92, Jimmy Johnson, the 11. Here's Kenny Wallace and Biffle. They
had a lot of damage, been hit a number of times.
That's Marty Houston. He's up on the high side of the racetrack. No, it was another blue car, Earl.
Yeah.
Looked like possibly Tim Fido got into the back of the blue car right there. That's David Green, I believe, in the 34 car.
That it is. 34 was the first to go around. And look at the mess that ensues behind him.
And again, Darrell, like you said, it normally happens after a restart when they're all bunched back up.
Everybody sees an opportunity, and they go for it.
There are at least 13 cars involved.
Oh, yeah, the Fidowa.
Tim Fidowa getting into the back of David Green.
Fidowa had a bad weekend last weekend with some contact with several cars, and again today.
And these guys are teammates, Fidowa and David Green.
Darrell, Larry, look at the 34 and look at the left rear tire. It looked like something happened on the left rear tire. It looked like something may have come out from underneath it just as he started around. See right there?
There it is.
Yeah,
see right there?
It is.
That wouldn't have been from the contact.
No.
Something happened to the left rear tire.
No, I'm glad for Fidowa's sake, because I know he felt bad about last weekend, and he sure didn't need to be involved in something like this.
It's like because of possibly the left rear tire coming apart, David Green's speed just slowed down, and Fidowa just got in the back of him.
Now, Larry, I'd also wonder how far did he go on his left side tires? Did he put on two?
There's Donahue caught up in it. Jimmy Johnson, the 92. Hamilton with
gets
damage.
a little damage.
Looking out of Bobby Hamilton Jr. He got a little bit of damage right there on the left rear, but considering where he was, that was minimum.
At 27, Jamie McMurray on the right to the accident list.
Well, when Fidowa moved up, Donahue had to go up. That put him into the 11 car.
Add the 77. Mike Harmon.
We saw Mike Skinner in a 21 car all the way down 2 lanes below the apron.
Minor damage to
by, and that's big for Michael Waltrip, who's on the tail end of the lead lap if he can get a caution here. Caution behind him. Trouble coming to the start-finish line. Hank Parker Jr.'s in it. Andy Kirby's in it. Tony Raines is in it. Christian Elder and Tim Sauter.
You all right?
Yep. Third yellow of the day. Now Michael Waltrip has to beat Dale Earnhardt Jr. back around to the flag.
Which I don't think that's going to be a problem.
And Dale Jr.'s back 175 miles. Off of turn number 4. Here it is.
Christian Elder comes up, makes contact with Ashton Lewis, the red car, and then behind them they basically got into the smoke, trying to dodge. They lose control, and man, hate that.
So don't those drivers. We'll be right back. Third caution of today's EAS GNC Live Well 300 for the NASCAR Busch Series at the Daytona International Speedway. A wreck that swept up 5 cars coming off turn 4, heading toward the start-finish line.
Let's see if we can get a look at get Christian Elder and Ashton Lewis, and just, I don't know BP if he thought he was clear, he was told he was clear, it just came across the nose, and it doesn't take much here.
Well, he just touched that right rear of Christian Elder's car, and he goes up in the wall, and the 46 hits the wall, and these other guys trying to dodge.
The 19 of Tim Sauter, the 36 of Hank Parker Jr., and big mess ensued there. The 33, Tony Raines, he comes across, has nowhere to go except in the back. And listen to this.
Andy Kirby looked like he had it saved and came back on the racetrack and slid all the way up.
Oh, man.
He had it. He had it cleared.
Yep.
Got hit.
Tim Sauter got hit in that inside line. He was slowing up. He got hit and thrown over into Hank. And I couldn't pick up the number of who it was that hit Sauter.
I didn't see anything out of that windshield.
And someone in the booth just said that Christian Elder all of a sudden started clipping grass instead of hair.
Super. You didn't write that, did you?
No, I didn't. I know. I didn't. I just repeated something someone said. There you see Michael Waltrip getting that line back.
That's from the flag stand.
Jay Sauter, everything's going fine. You think you're in the right place, doing a good job. All of a sudden, a bunch of cars go by you on the outside.
And you're still lying and say, roll, what? Whoa, trouble.
Boy,
the 2-car upside down, over and on to Scott Riggs. It's the big one.
Oh, boy, who is that still flipping?
Sauter. It was Johnny Sauter.
There's not anybody left.
I mean, I only see about 4 or 5 cars that are coming around through 3 and 4 right now that were not in this race. They see Mike McLaughlin in 18. They're still getting upside down. Cars driving under cars. There has to be 25 cars over there.
There's Michael Waltrip. Damaged Lyndon Amick. And you see the 2 of Johnny Sauter.
Here comes
Scott Riggs, last week's winner.
Here comes our leader, Stacy Compton.
Jason Keller, Kenny Wallace,
Kevin Grubb, who has come from 38th up to the top 5. He's okay. Watch the 2 car.
What caused this?
Oh, Meal got into Riggs.
It looked like Riggs had to maybe back out of the throttle a little bit because Kenny Wallace's car washed up as they come off the exit of turn 2 right there, the 48 car. Right here, this is turn 2. Kenny Wallace, the 48 car right there.
Oh, I don't know. It looked like Shane Meal possibly just got into the back of the 10 car.
The 47 car, yeah.
Yeah, got into Riggs. Look at that 2 flipping. Looks like Rusty Wallace's flip in the number 2 Winston Cup car here not many years ago.
And when it hit the grass, it even tumbled more. There's Randy LaJoy. Greg Biffle.
Oh, Biffle.
There's
Jay Sauter.
Kerry Earnhardt.
There's everybody. Jack
Sprague, our point leader.
And the track's completely
Tim Sauter.
blocked.
All the Sauters.
I think we did the right thing by saying who wasn't in it.
And because the track's blocked, NASCAR has displayed the red flag because the cars can't even get through on the back stretch.
It appears to me maybe 10 or 12 cars is all that's left. Boy, that 2 car went over big time and then gets hit, tumbles. That car's, look at that thing, Larry. It's turning every which way.
And then the 21.
And then he gets in the grass. Watch this.
Shot across.
Gets hit again.
Johnny Sauter, number 2, out of his car, and okay.
Amazing.
There's Riggs sideways, and he was pretty close up to the wall, Darrell. I guess you don't know if he lost his momentum in his forward bite or if Meal just got into him.
Yeah,
there's no way to tell.
Say. You come off that corner and you can get a really run on a guy in front of you, and you think something happened to him, even though maybe it didn't.
And I stand corrected. It did not look like Kenny Wallace's car moved up the racetrack from that shot right there at all.
I think the 47 got into the back of the 10 for whatever reason.
You like lucky numbers? 13 cars made it back to the start-finish line.
Wow. Happened in 1992. I can remember had a big wreck off of turn 2. They always seem to happen off of turn 2, the big ones.
Wow. Looking out of Lyndon Amick's car.
Michael Waltrip. Kenny Wallace.
What a mess.
And there, as Larry explained, you saw Kenny move up the racetrack without any contact with Scott Riggs there before this started.
Well, there's two fellas in that front five running for the championship. Biffle, who is second in points in the 60, and Jason Keller, fifth in line. Oh, hard hit. Hard into the wall. Was Sprague. And cars go spinning everywhere.
Caution is out.
Jack Sprague with an incredibly hard hit coming out of turn 2.
We could have a race to the line here. This could be the race right here.
Dying again.
Here they go. Kind of hanging close to each other, banging around a little bit here. All of a sudden they come off a 2. He gets a little wobble. Sprague does, gets that arrow push, corrects for it. There goes Todd around, and here comes the rest of the field.
Pretty much everybody else behind these cars was involved.
Saw Hank Parker scoot through, and then Ricky Hendrick.
Ricky Hendrick came so close to making it through. If you watch Sprague's car down on the bottom, here he is with Todd on the outside. Now what's going to happen, Sprague's car is going to wiggle a little bit. It's going to move up the track. It's going to suck the bottom of it. See it go down, and now the bottom, the thing comes around with him, hits Todd on the outside.
And there's nowhere for the rest of these cars to go. Casey Kane, the 98, almost gets over all the way over.
As you go through turns 1 and 2 down here, there's some swell, some real kind of, the car wants to porpoise a little bit as it goes through that corner. Sprague loses the front end. He turns into it, and the back end comes around, gets into, then it breaks loose and gets into Todd.
Darrell, I know it's only 5 laps to go, but give and take. There's got to be some give and take.
There just can't be. These restricted, the problem you have, Mike, is these cars are restricted. If you lift, you go back. You got 5 to go. You got no choice. You got to gas it and go. And sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, this is basically what you get.
From Hank Parker Jr.
You see Sprague up there. You see him just kind of, the front end pushes first, and then the back end hops out.
Casey Kane got into Parker, turning him around when Kane was up in the air. Now watch from Stacy Compton.
Boy, Stacy Compton has been a lucky man tonight. That's the 3rd wreck that he's been in, and still going. Watch this car now. It does. Todd on the outside must get the back. See how it does that little wobble right there? It's like it starts down and he corrects for it, and then the thing takes off with him. And when it does, it just gets into Todd Bodine on the outside there.
Watch Casey Kane. Wild ride.
Right over the top of Jack. Stacy Compton's one I can't believe. He goes right through the middle of this, and I don't believe he got any damage.
Darrell, do you possibly think the 18 car possibly had anything to do with it, running this, approaching the back of the 24 car, maybe taking air off the rear spoiler?
Whoa!
I don't know, but what's Stacy? He stays. 98 goes around, opens up, and through he goes.
Very little damage.
This started about 10 seconds ago. 9 laps in, and there's the big one.
And I counted 8 cars that just came down in front of us at the start-finish line.
That's all there is. It's about 8.
It's Johnny Salter right here. Remember, he was in the big one a year ago. There you see Bobby Hamilton Jr., the 25 car. Jason Keller, 2nd points, 57 car.
Oh, something happened right there.
Something happened with the 21 car, Johnny Salter.
21 car, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, something happened, shot him down across the apron. They started checking up and behind him, Darrell.
Almost looked like he was trying to get out of the way, and somebody got into the back of him in the process. There you go. Well, I think that may be
32 car. That's Lyndon Amick.
I think that may be behind. See, there's a 21 down on the apron. We need to go a little further back, I think.
Because I'm not sure there was contact between Sauter and Amick.
Yeah, I think he just dropped to the bottom, and all of a sudden,
watch the 21.
Well,
he's a little behind it.
Yeah, he's up in front of this crowd right here. Yeah, the 32 gets into the back of the 21. Amy gets into the back of Sauter, and that's what started. I don't know, but it looked like from when I was looking at it, the 21 dropped down for some reason.
But apparently maybe Lyndon Amick got in the back of him, checked up, then Brian Vickers gets in the back of him, the 5 car.
From Mike McLaughlin. almost got through there.
Yeah.
Scott Wimmer.
Just couldn't see anything. Got the fluid all over his windshield. And look at that car on the inside. They're going into the inside wall. Looked like it might have been. Was that McMurray?
And these are all roof cams. Whatever view you see here, this is basically what the drivers see out of the windshield.
I wonder if you hear like a big vibrating noise before Sauter's car got down to the apron right there.
He was trying to get out of the way, or he got to the bottom in a hurry. I'm not sure why.
From Brian Vickers. Darrell, something came up off the ground from the vicinity of the left side of Johnny Sauter's car.
Here we go.
Including David Green and Scott Riggs also coming in. A huge melee crash that has caused several problems for many drivers in the early going of the Aaron's 312.
Darrell, the 21 car was having a problem.
Yeah,
Big
it looks like he started. The car started to turn before Vickers got to him.
Looks like he maybe had a tire going down. I'm sure we interviewed him. He'll be able to tell us.
Yeah. Looked like his car just started to break loose right in front of that whole crowd.
And unless you have a tire going down here, that normally won't happen.
From our Busch Beer aerial coverage. Look at how quickly this clogs the whole racetrack.
Yeah, and I mean, remember, you're running 190 miles an hour. You can't stop. You just try to drive through it if there's any way possible.
Matt Yoakams with a driver who's a victim for the